Totally.
Hey everybody, welcome to Aniki, the podcast about anime with two brothers. I'm Ben.
And I'm a fan of Don Bluth films.
Really? Which ones?
Anastasia.
Really? That one?
Yeah, it's a great one. It just got a Broadway musical, and the Broadway musical rules, and its songbook is awesome.
Oh, I did not actually know that.
Yeah, it just started up this year on Broadway. It's been nominated for a crap ton of awards, and won a couple last year for its early stuff.
Personally, I prefer The Secret of Nim.
I mean, that one is Nightmare Fuel.
And Titan AE, which was not well received for some reason.
I know, right? It is drastically underappreciated. Well, I mean, it is basically just Battlestar Galactica, so...
Yeah, but no one liked Battlestar Galactica at the time.
Until the new Battlestar Galactica? Yeah, no, I know. I think it's really good, though.
It was really
Titan
good.
AE, solid. Let's not talk about Rockadoodle, because it is...
trash. Utter trash.
A horrid mess. Yeah. I never liked All Dogs Go to Heaven, but that's just because I don't like dogs.
It was okay. But American Tail and Land Before Time, choice.
Oh, yeah. No, choice.
Absolutely.
And Bible Goes West is still choice. All of the sequels to Land Before Time are terrible.
Yes, obviously. Because how do you follow that up?
By being terrible.
And Don Bluth had nothing to do with those.
I mean, yeah, that's true. However,
yes,
he did personally work on one of the Anastasia sequels.
Really?
Bartok the Magnificent, he did actually work on.
That's
fun fact.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. But the actress that got to play Anya in the Broadway isn't a redhead, so...
Well, historically inaccurate. Throw the whole thing out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not quite sure that's historically accurate or inaccurate.
No one knows. They were all in black and white back then.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no record of her hair color ever in the history books.
Nope. All thrown out. Those Bolsheviks.
Yeah. You know what happened to the Romanovs, after all? They got Bolsheviked.
Yes, they did.
I'm seeing because it's
Too
like
soon.
evicted.
Too soon.
But, I mean, actually, the 100-year anniversary was just a couple days ago.
Was it?
Yeah. There was a celebration in parts of Seattle.
For some reason, I felt like that happened before World War One, but yeah, that
no, it happened
doesn't
in
make
the
any
middle
sense.
of World War. It happened like in the middle of World War One.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's the 100-year anniversary of the communist takeover of
history major right here.
Russia.
So, funny story. We were talking about how to finish out the end of the year, what our schedules will look like, and then I texted my brother, dear viewers.
Look, I'm positive
I'm like,
I brought this up before.
Hey, no, because I listened to the
have.
recording and I edited it.
I've had this trip planned since like May.
So I messaged my brother and said, hey, you up for recording this week? What day is good? And I get back, well, I'm in Disney for the rest of the week, so...
Yeah. I mean, surely I brought this up at some point.
Nope.
Again, I've had it planned since like May or March, so I find this almost impossible.
And yet it happened, which makes for a very funny story. That is why there was no episode last week.
I had a wonderful time. I don't know what you were doing Thursday night, but I was at Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
I saw your wife's Twitter blast all week.
Yeah.
It was delightful. So my favorite story from your wife's Twitter during your vacation was that you guys went to the Coke store, which I think is in the MGM thing, right?
No. Coke store is at Disney Springs / downtown Disney.
Okay. So you went into the Coke store, and apparently she was looking at the menu, and she looks over at you and like, what are you going to get? And you were like...
got everything?
You were like...
I got one of it. I literally got one of everything.
I think I would like to try one of everything. She's like, well, that's nice. And she turns to give her order, turns around, and you have...
I have literally ordered one of everything. 3 trays.
Of Coke.
Now, so I couldn't finish the floats, but I finished everything else.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at these pictures right now, and it is delightful.
A lot of soda. I drink a lot of soda pop. I drink a lot of liquid, not necessarily alcoholic liquid, just liquid in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I could handle it, and I did.
You did.
There's a lot of soda pop. It was all quite good.
This picture of you, the after picture, is one of accomplishment.
Yeah, as it should be. I told you I could.
What a success.
The floats were a bridge too far, but I did take a sip of all of them. And it turns out a Sprite float is actually quite good.
Really? What kind of ice cream would you put in that?
Just vanilla? It was just vanilla, but it was really good.
Huh. So you have to give us a rundown on which
I don't
Cokes
have my list.
Oh.
I don't have my list of what they all were.
So did none of them like stick out in your mind?
No, I mean they did. I just have to have my list to remember which ones were which.
Ah,
But no, there were several quite good ones that I would like to have again.
there's a myriad
the one
of
from
colors
Italy was
here,
kind
though.
of garbage, though.
So are they just from all over the world or something, or are they just?
Yeah, they were. They're Coke products from all over the world, so it's not like each one's just Coke from a different country. It's a Coke owned soft drink because a couple of them were like teas or fruit punches. So they weren't carbonated, but yeah.
Was there one from Japan?
There was not.
Really?
Several from African nations, though.
I was kind of expecting like a cucumber one.
No cucumber.
There's always a cucumber one.
Yeah. No.
Mm.
But no, they were all pretty good. To be fair, it was a bit of an accident because I was like, they have one that's floats and they have one that's like a flight of around the world.
Right.
I was like, well, I'll just get the combo and just see what it is. And then she rang me up and it's like, oh wait, there's just the two of you. And I was like, well, yeah. It's like, oh, that's way too much. I was like, oh, okay. But in order to like do the return, she'd have to get like a manager from another floor of the building. I was like, look, just don't worry about it.
You just do it.
It's not worth worrying about. Because like, I know I can drink all of the like international flight. Like, no problem. That will happen.
Just the floats.
The floats might be too much, but like.
That is a lot of ice cream if that's a whole tray.
Yeah. The whole tray of like sodas, like each one of those was like maybe 4 or 6 ounces. Like, I mean, it wasn't like.
Right.
This wasn't like a whole lot of soda in each cup. So, I mean,
it's not like you got, let's see, a 24 flights of whiskey. It's just Coke and a couple floats.
You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's no problem.
So, do you have any other stories from your Disney vacay?
No. Pandora's cool.
I didn't know they had a Pandora. Is that recent? Last time I was there when you got married, so.
Yeah, no, there were the wait times for one of the Pandora rides would encroach on 5 hours.
Oh my.
Yeah, no joke.
That's not how I want to spend my day.
No, it's not. I'm shocked anybody actually would. I can't imagine a ride. It was habitually over 3 hours. And I can't imagine that. Like 2 hours is like, yeah, okay, you're dedicated. After like 120 minutes, it's like, you're crazy. Who sees the line time being 200 minutes is like, sign me up. I want to do that. I'm at Disney World. I have literally nothing better to do than to wait in line for 3 hours. I started just measuring the time in like movies because it's like, oh, it's now Star Wars length. Oh, one line is Star Wars length. The other one is Lord of the Rings length.
Ugh.
Oh, now a line is 2 Star Wars movies long.
Now it's one Godfather.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Gross.
One Titanic, please. I would like to wait one Titanic's worth of time.
We all know how that ends.
I mean, to be fair, you have a phone, so I guess you could watch all of Titanic while in line at Disney World. But come on.
Your battery's dead by the end of one ride, though. But while you were gone, it did give me the time to finish all of Stranger Things Season 2.
Oh, yeah, sure. Final thoughts? Good, bad?
Final thoughts. I'm on board with your analysis that there were some characters that didn't really need to be there.
Yeah, definitely set up for Season 3.
Yeah, obviously. I think and slight spoilers, my major problem with it, and it's very slight, but it's like the biggest one I've got, is I don't like the fact that the whole series seemed to like split the core group of 4 dudes. Like, it split them up for the whole movie.
Yeah, it did.
And I was like,
for the whole show.
That's not quite what I was expecting. I was expecting more. I mean,
they had. Like, I like the overall thesis of doing that because it's like, we had the groups in this configuration in Season 1, so we're going to put the groups into a different configuration for Season 2. But it doesn't have that really good come-together moment that Season 1 has at the end, where all the different groups link up.
Right.
It didn't have, like, a good moment like that.
And I did appreciate that in Season 1, you know, they were focused on Mike mostly Mike and Will. And then in Season 2, they focus mostly on Dustin and Lucas. Yeah. And, you know, I'm all on Team Dustin myself.
Oh, everyone is on Team Dustin, to be fair. Also, the character arc of, what's his name? The boyfriend?
Oh, Bob the Brain?
No. Bob. No.
Steve.
The other one. Steve. I do like the idea of Steve Holt going from like, I know his actual name isn't Steve Holt. Okay, let's get that over with us right now. I'm making a joke and a reference to another Steve Holt, but anyway, Steve, see exactly. Steve Holt in season 1, right, is just like the high school badass. In this, he just turns into like a nanny, like the world's best
Well, actually,
babysitter.
I was listening to,
and that's pretty sweet.
I was listening to.
I'm a big fan.
To Pop Culture Coffee Hour today.
Sure.
They actually talked about season 2, and they had a good observation that the reason Steve ended up being like a really good babysitter, especially towards Dustin, is both he and Dustin don't have fathers.
Oh, I mean, that's really, that's.
I was like, that is an astute observation. I had missed that, but yes, that makes sense.
That is thoughtful.
They made a lot of other very good observations, but they are much more in depth than I can get here.
Yeah, all right. So let's do some Time of Eve.
Not quite yet.
What, you have something else to say?
You didn't want to go over this trash Ghibli list?
Oh, golly. Do I want to get into this trash Ghibli list, or should we save that? We should save that for the season finale.
Okay, we can do that.
I like building up this trash Ghibli list over several episodes to be like, all right, let's go, because I don't even want to give it clicks, so I don't even really want to say where it's at.
Yeah.
Because it's too garbage.
Because I read it again today, and I was like, I have
garbage.
To link to this, I think.
It is actually the worst.
So for the people who aren't familiar, there exists a blog somewhere of quote unquote film reviewers, I guess, and they have ranked all the Studio Ghibli films from worst to best.
Okay, so like the top like 5 aren't terrible. There's some glaring things that should be there that aren't, but just like the top like 3 are like, okay, I can see valid arguments for those.
I mean, just the listing
but then
is
the
okay.
rest is trash.
And even the top 3, like the listing, that makes sense, but their reasoning for them is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So
they're bad.
Yeah, we'll tease that for
garbage.
For later this season.
Trash garbage poop from a butt. Like from a butt poop. That's this list.
So here is everyone's homework. Go through all the Studio Ghibli films.
Go watch 22 Ghibli movies.
And rank them yourself, worst to best. And we will revisit this topic later this season.
Even if it's just the ones you can like watch on streaming services. Or
even just ones you've seen so far, because there are a lot.
Or ones you can get from like $5 at the Walmart on Blu-ray, because that's how cheap they are these days.
Yeah.
Watch those. You will have a better list than what this list is. Because it is garbage poop from a butt.
You know what isn't garbage poop from a butt?
Eve no Jikan?
Correct.
It's very interesting. I still love its camera work. This director knows his stuff.
He does know his stuff, although
the camera work's really interesting.
I do like his camera work, and yet at the same time, I don't like his camera work. It's really weird.
I can see that. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Because unlike, not Sound of Water,
Mizuno Kotaba?
unlike that, like the camera work in this doesn't seem to serve much more of purpose, doesn't seem to serve a higher purpose other than its nifty camera work.
Yeah.
So.
Like every time the camera does do the quintessential thing of being like, suddenly it's basically like a handheld cam handy cam. Every time he does that, it's like, I notice it and I appreciate that he's putting that into an anime because that's normally not there. But at the same time, I'm like, it feels odd. I feel like I'm being pulled out of this.
It doesn't serve the narrative purpose it did in Mizuno Kotaba.
Yeah, it's not like from a character's perspective. It's just done to do it.
Yeah,
but it is cool. I like it.
I can appreciate that opinion.
So yeah, we are finishing out the season, if you haven't caught on, by going through all 6 original OVA episodes of Eve no Jikan, or The Time of Eve. And this week we are going through episode 2.
Sammy is its name.
It is Sammy. And this is
about
not
Sammy Davis Jr. being a robot.
Or a Tenchi Muyo joke.
No, that's true. We were just talking about Tenchi Muyo in one of my other chat groups. I guess there's going to be some young adult novels.
There are. And I'm pretty sure that Ryoko will be canon best girl.
What? No, that lies.
Obviously.
Lies. They taunted me in the chat on that too.
I know, because I was part of that.
You're not on that chat.
I was on the Twitter chat. Did you not see us talking about that?
No, because I'm not on Twitter anymore. This is on the Discord,
My bad.
which you're not a part of.
No, but I was talking to one of their members, and I mentioned that Ryoko should be best girl, and he responded that he wishes that we could convert you away from the darkness towards the light.
No. See, I think you have this backwards.
And I said, now wait.
I'm the only right one here.
I defended you a little bit. I said, now, wait. John does love his Hime cuts, and it's a bit like telling me that ponytails are trash.
I mean...
And he said, it's not the Hime cut, because Hime cuts are cool. It's who's attached to the Hime cut. And I said, now, hang on a second.
Hime cuts can supersede
many other
character features.
Ayeka is possibly a yandere, and he does like yanderes.
See?
And then we got into,
this is stacking up.
Is she a yandere?
She's a little more tsundere. She's definitely not yandere.
But that's where I was like, hey, John, come play with us, and you didn't respond.
Why would I do that?
So.
Well, no, I wouldn't, because I'm not on Twitter.
What is your verdict on that? Yandere?
I don't think she's... No? She's not a yandere.
She would sacrifice an entire empire to get her man.
Okay, well, I mean, that's different, though.
Is it?
She doesn't do anything. She doesn't do a whole lot of things like creepy or like life-threatening to him.
Well, no, yandere never does.
Like, she doesn't try to murder. She doesn't try to like murder him if he tries to date another girl. She would mostly murder the other.
But
okay, well,
yanderes by definition could go off after their love interest or after all their rivals.
I mean, that's true.
And she definitely does that.
All right, so she's a borderline yandere. Yeah, all right, I'll allow it. This explains why I like the ship. Yeah, no, I'm okay with this now. This more rationalizes why this ship is obviously the most legitimate one.
It's your headcanon?
I mean, it's not headcanon, it's actual canon.
Oh, I see. So. Yes. Well, we'll have to wait for the novelization to find out.
I'm king shaming you real hard.
The Tenchi Flame Wars continue in the year of our Lord 2017.
Oh, is this?
It's only like what 20 years later?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh well, Ryoko.
See, that's a lie, because we just discussed how Ayeka has a Hime cut and is borderline yandere. Therefore, obviously.
No.
Hey, if you want a really contentious thought or theory,
yeah,
some people think that Tsunami should be up with Tenchi.
Well, Tsunami is perfectly okay because, again, like she's actually like 1,000,000 years old, so it's okay.
Now this is very distinct from Sasami.
Okay. Fire Emblem does it with dragons. It's not okay.
No, Sasami bad.
No, it's okay.
Tsunami herself good.
It's a Genji thing.
Well, yeah, it's always a Genji thing.
Yeah, and Genji things are bad things.
Genji things are fun. They're classical things.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're great.
I'm pretty sure that's fine.
Not a great move either. By the way, I figured out why Tessa was screaming to get in.
So we're all on the same page. Ayeka is true canon ship. Thanks.
Look,
Thanks, Annie.
The real ship
is Ayeka.
And Washu.
Okay, I'll allow it.
I'll take
she'll
that.
clone herself.
Exactly.
And it'll be her own Schlorblak. Now neither of them will be Flatix.
Exactly. Finally, some intelligent conversation.
See, there you go.
Oh,
all
my
right,
goodness.
I allow all of these things.
Oh my.
But just for the record, we're both on the same page.
We are not.
Ayeka. All right, so there you go. You heard it here first, folks. My wife is also okay with the real ship of Tenchi Ayeka.
To this bullshit.
Bye.
Oh
Ryoko's
man.
the better one.
It's Ryo Oki. You're right. Okay, bye.
Poor John is alone on an island by himself.
All right. I mean, if you want to allow, if you want to be on the record saying Tenchi in Tokyo is existent and canon,
light novels.
ugh,
We can all go to Tokyo together with Tenchi.
Ugh.
That fake lady.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, right.
You can't bring up Tenchi in Tokyo and say that's canon at all.
yeah, you can. Yeah, sure. No, it's all canon all the time.
No.
That's the best interpretation of the characters and the story.
No, complete failure. All right, robots.
All right, now let's talk about robots because we've now prattled on for far too long.
Yeah. So, Even no Jikan, episode 2, Sammy. Just the name of a robot and nothing more.
Not Sasami.
Not Sasami. Not a magical girl. We get our same title card, which is, in the future, maybe Japan.
I'm a huge fan of that. Like, every time it makes me happy.
Japan. Taboon. Anyway, we open on our same protagonist, whose name escapes me. It's like Ryoka? Roka?
I say it later in the episode.
Yeah, well,
let's not to worry about it too much.
So we open on our main character, Ryoka, talking with his robot who, if we remember correctly from last time, is suspect of going out on her own.
On its own.
To a cafe to talk with people and pretend to not be a robot. Essentially. She's LARPing.
Yeah, basically. Oh, I like that.
There's a problem.
And LARPing's lame.
Yeah, there's a problem in this film, or OVA, with LARPing robots. And it's the duty of our protagonist and his best friend from class to find out what's up with the LARPing robots.
What is up with the LARPing robots?
Good question.
It does open with him, questioning his robot and being like, so where were you the other day? And she's like, oh, I just went and did stuff. Did you do anything other than the stuff you were told to do, like go shopping and go garage? She's like, no.
No, definitely.
Sure.
Definitely not.
Pretty sure right here in your GPS it says you went to a cafe for no real reason.
Well, who are you going to believe? The logs or the robot?
Well, I mean, generally both should be completely in sync, but
you've never done server administration.
So what would you believe? What your computer's telling you now, or what the computer's telling you happened then?
You always believe the logs.
Always believe the logs.
Yeah, that way you can reproduce the problem later, maybe.
Let's see if they're going to reproduce the problem with his robot.
Well, we're going to find out later. So it turns out that his sister is still very annoyed that he is even talking to the robot like a person.
Yeah.
Because he's questioning her not like you would a machine. He's questioning
like,
her
hey, do this
like
thing.
You would interrogate another person. Like, where were you last night? What's going on with this? Where were you actually where you said you were? I don't believe you. Instead of just being like, run diagnostic mode, print out all locations, etc.
Yeah.
Well, he defends himself saying that, Mom does it too, talking to the robot like this. And in fact, the other day, she dressed it up just like one of her dolls, which is a little weird.
Oh, no, 100% I would do that.
Not going to question that.
Not in like a weird, creepy way, just in like, let's put on like cute outfits, because I mean...
Of course
that's
you
what
would.
one does with avatars in video games, so...
True. But his sister's still concerned that her brother may be turning into one of those robot lovers.
Androaholics.
Dodi.
Robosexuals.
Yes. Dodike is what they call them actually in the show, but I like robosexuals better. But it is very odd to me that both in the last episode and in this episode, the TV that the sister watches seems to be continuous coverage of people talking about relationships with robots.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't like that, sister, why do you keep watching stuff about it?
For the same reason why anyone ever goes on Twitter. Just to read bad opinions.
I guess that makes sense. But yeah, the TV is talking about basically same thing as last time, that maybe this communication between people and robots and this familiarity that's being built between the two is actually ruining the ability for actual flesh and blood humans to connect to each other.
Well, considering the internet is doing that, I can only imagine what Rubits would do that.
Yes.
Not bad. Did she also bring up here that he started to call his robots Sammy instead of... Or is that the friend here in a moment?
No, this comes up when the boy asks the robot about what her schedule is today and uses the name Sammy.
Yeah.
So either he has named the robot recently or he started using the name that his parents came up with for it.
Or it's like one of those clever names like Valhalla, where it's like a numerical code. Like it could be like SAM-1.
Yeah, I don't think we never saw her actual like serial number or
so
designation.
it could be something like that. Like semi-automatic made 1.
That just makes her sound like some sort of like weapons platform.
Actually, it just reminds me of a Mahoromatic, and now I'm kind of delighted by old anime.
Oh man, now I'm very sad.
And now my bones are dust. Because no one else out there knows Mahoromatic. All right.
Yes. So we cut back to the classroom where Ruoka and his best friend, are sitting there and discussing the goings-on.
About how the robot says it didn't go to the cafe.
When clearly it did.
Clearly. I mean, because the log says, went to here.
Yeah.
And he starts questioning his log and is like, maybe I made a mistake in gathering the log. And his friend's like, come on, you honestly trust the robot? That the robot would just come out and be like, Yeah, sure. I went there. Why are you trusting what the robot said to you over the log in your hand that's like GPS?
Yeah, and I like his response to this. He's like, wait. Are you saying that Sammy is lying to me?
Yeah.
And the dude's like, okay, time out. There's so much wrong with what you just said.
All right, so you dropped a couple of leaps of logic there, all in a row. In one little sentence, you done goofed.
Yeah. First of all, you started calling it Sammy. And second of all,
as soon as you name it, you're in trouble. I do like how as soon as he says that and the friend is like, he immediately like blushes and is like, well, darn.
Our android. That's what I meant to say. Not
our android friend
Yeah.
at home.
Mm-hmm.
The android buddy.
That totally does not have a name because
does not have a people name.
So the friend tried to help Roka out of this is like, okay, let's do the cliche now. Let's reiterate the 3 laws of robotics. Try stating them for us.
Guess what's not among them? Don't lie to people.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't hurt people, obey orders as long as it doesn't hurt people, and try not to die.
Yeah.
Among none of those is, hey.
Which is interesting because, I've heard the 3 laws forever. And honestly, I too had never considered that, hey, actually, lying is kind of permitted under those things, isn't it?
Matter of fact, it could arguably be encouraged, as his friend points out, because it's like, hey, it could lie to protect you.
Yeah.
So it could be actively encouraged by the robot.
This is true. Yeah.
So,
I mean, we're just talking
out.
3 laws that govern like very core android stuff. We're not talking about robot ethics.
Well, I mean, it kind of is, right? Like, these are core robot ethics, but that's it. Like, this is the long and short of it, right?
These are like the axioms. But things like lying in a social situation, that's completely divorced from this.
And isn't normally do not by inaction cause any human to become harmed as well? Is that in there too, usually?
I don't believe so.
Or is that like a little further down the list?
Yeah, that's not in the core 3. It's, or don't cause harm to humanity.
Yeah, but I thought like baked into that was nor by any inaction
Well,
cause
maybe
a human to come to harm.
But it's definitely like, don't actively hurt humanity.
Yeah.
Obey humanity's orders so long as it doesn't hurt humanity. And then protect yourself so long as it doesn't contradict the last 2.
Yeah.
So being passive, that sounds more like a later addition.
Fuzzy wuzzity gray spot?
Yeah. Big gray spot.
Kind of like lying.
Hopefully that is not a thing that takes place in this show.
Either way, they're like, well, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's go hang out in Time of Eve and see if like my robot shows up, and then we can just like
because she said that today she's going to go grocery shopping later, and she's not going to go to the cafe. So if we hang out in the cafe all afternoon and she doesn't show up, there we go.
There you go.
And that is the plan they put into action. They actually do go to Eve no Jikan again. It's become their spot.
It's their new hang.
Yep.
It's like the juice bar in Power Rangers.
They do have a juice bar.
Yeah, they absolutely have a juice bar. It's like a major part. It's like a big set piece for the first like 5 seasons of the show.
Well, I'd forgotten all about that because that was many, many years ago.
It was several, yes.
It's like, I don't remember any juice bars in America back then.
No.
Just
it
that
just
one.
gave them a hangout spot. Now they're all like teen centers.
So after they go inside, we get another title card with the actual name of this particular episode, which is Sammy, and subtitle, The Companion of Eve. Makes me wonder who this Eve is.
Yeah, I don't know. First sentient robot, probably.
So they walk inside and they see what appear to be now regulars.
There's the coffee tender. There's the barista, I guess I should say. There are the koibitos. There's an old man. There's the guy reading the book. And upstairs, where they're about to hang out and notice that they actually have a hard time seeing things down there.
Is a
one of the
Chobit.
guys that's nearsighted. It's kind of a Chobit, yeah.
It's
Little
Chi-Chan.
children. Now there's a children down there, and she thinks she's a cat.
And her name is
Chie, not Chi. Chie. Very different.
Is it? My subtitles
V
say
different.
My subtitles say Chi.
Well, this is Chie.
Well, whatever. Not a Chobit.
So,
She's too small to be a
not
Chobit.
a Chobit. She's far too small. Well, I don't know. There was Plum.
She wasn't a Chobit, though.
Yeah, she was a Chobit.
No, only Chi and And the spoiler was a
all right,
Chobit.
so if we're gonna get into super lore, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But yeah, the little girl has glommed onto Ryoka and has declared herself to be a cat. She is a cat today.
There you go. I mean, when you deal with 4-year-old girls, or 4-year-olds in general, they have a propensity to decide to be things like a dog, a cat, or a fire truck.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of have to live with it.
But our hero here does say something very poignant, which is, they're up on that balcony, they're going to keep a lookout, but he notes that his eyesight isn't very good, even with glasses, so he can't see very far. This becomes important later.
But yeah, he gets glomped by this kid, and they bring him down to the grandpa, and it's like, look, this kid, right? Here you go. Grandpa's just like, hey, the kids need freedom. I'll let her run around and glomp people.
Yeah, that's what you do,
on
right?
Your arms. Really, I'm not quite sure what this whole scene here really does.
I kind of get it, because the scene sort of sets up the whole idea of the rest of the show, I feel. And not because of her, because, she isn't exactly the main focus of this episode or any following episodes, but it does set up, at least in my mind, like, who is a robot and who isn't a robot.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. Like, I mean, it definitely serves that, because they, like, unabashedly don't even consider those two being robots. They're just like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, even though anyone in here could be. In fact, they could be the only humans in here.
Yeah.
And as far as they know, they are the only humans.
Maybe they aren't.
Or maybe they're not. Who knows?
Maybe they're not. Maybe that's the twist. Maybe it's like Blade Runner, where he is the robot.
Yeah, we don't know. And it could be the old man is human, little girl is robot. Could be the reverse.
Vice versa. They could both be humans. They could both be robots.
Last episode, we sort of got that with just their wandering into this cafe. But that was mostly world building. This time, with this particular interaction, I felt more like, okay, she's a little girl and she's acting weird. That's normal-ish, but also easily programmable. But also the grandpa asks, what would it take for you to stop acting like a cat? And she's like, oh, I would like ice cream. It's like, well, that's not something a robot would naturally jump to, per se. So it does.
Unless they were programmed to.
Yeah.
But
it does set up that question.
Protag notices the baby grand in the corner and is like, well, let's go sit over there instead, because like he used to play piano, so he's gonna go over there and hang out. But then he figures out that, oh wait, right here is right behind those koibito that do nothing but hang all over each other all the time.
A lot of hanging. There's a lot of hanging off of going on.
Yeah, a lot of hanging all over. And hey, I'm lonely. Why don't you comfort me? And this, that, and the other thing. And let's be as like irritating as possible. I do love the faces they give at these two, though.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
It's like, really? Here?
Come on,
guys.
Well, let's go outside or something. Though I guess outside, maybe not, because then you'd know who's a robot. One and or both of you could be robots or humans. We don't know. So they're like, all right, let's move.
Well, I do like that not only are they giving them this look, but the two of them are about to lean in for like a quick peck.
Something.
And they notice,
anything.
oh wait, we're being watched from 3 feet away. And there's this weird 4-way stare going on. Like, yeah, maybe we should go.
So they scooch on back upstairs and on their way over and are like, hey, coffees. I like that. That's a good little character moment. Some good humor going in. Blah. They're going to complain about ice cream, and they're just going to sit on the back couch. And the friend is like, hey, are you scared? Are you scared that your Sammy robot's going to show up?
I do like the fact that
what would you do then?
The friend calls her Sammy-chan.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty condescending.
The Chan is what makes it,
yes.
Right? If it's just Sammy, it'd be like, whatever. But it's the Sammy-chan. But you can tell where the friend sits with all this robot nonsense. He thinks robot LARPing is dumb and stupid and is encroachment on human dignity. And maybe his dad works for like the government about robots or something. Because this is starting to get implied about how his dad is super not a fan of robots and how he doesn't even own a robot. And that's kind of weird for somebody in their position.
It is. And his friend, or Ryoka, asks him, why is it you don't own a robot? And we get this very quick flash. I guess it's a flashback. But it's like one frame of what appears to be a small child, presumably the friend, and a very non-human looking robot. in like,
What was it?
it looks like his bedroom when he was a kid or something.
To me, it just looked like he'd been shoved in the closet like 11. But hold on, let me get a good pause here and see what's up. No, it just looks like he's in a closet with like a yellow Roomba.
What? Man, I don't know what you're looking at. Hang on.
Well, I'm looking at what I assume you're looking at.
Hang on. I'll send this to you. Here we go.
I mean, that's what I'm looking at.
Whoa, that is not what I see.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah, like for real.
Huh. All right, hit me. Huh.
That is weird.
Weird.
That is really weird. Okay, so
Well, that's different.
I guess we'll have to post both of these. So John is watching the Crunchyroll version.
Yeah.
And
What are you watching?
I am watching a rip from like the original OVAs. So I don't know if this was redone or something, or maybe yours is like from the movie that's been sliced
that
up.
Is not this. Yeah, that is not the same at all. Yeah.
Tell them what you're saying.
Well, I just seen a kid alone in a dark room with what it looks to be a weird yellow Roomba shape.
Yeah, and what I am seeing is
It's completely different.
yeah, it's just like a sickly young boy with a very like Aibo-ish robot in his room and a father figure standing in the doorway. That's it.
Huh. Well, this is questioning everything I believe about the world in which I live. Do we see the same color when we both look at the sky?
I see red. What do you see?
Is what I call blue the same as what you see as blue?
These are good questions.
Is what I think of when I taste saltiness what you taste when you taste saltiness?
I wouldn't hazard a guess.
Yeah, you couldn't hazard a guess. This just like
So I guess we'll put a bookmark in that.
put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean,
So, yeah.
I guess we'll have to watch it from now on, because I mean, the show I could be watching could be 100% different.
Apparently. So yeah, we come back to the friend and Roka on the couch talking about whatever's going on, and suddenly Aiko comes in, and they know 100% she is definitely a robot.
Totally a robot. On a scale of 1 to robot.
And so Roka's like, I'm gonna go talk to Aiko and see if maybe I could get some information out of her.
Basically, he's like, hey, you know that one rule that we're supposed to follow?
Yeah.
I'm gonna totally ignore that again.
And to be fair, okay, so I know that rule exists for a reason, right? So humans and robots can interact without anyone knowing who each other is. But the core purpose behind that is for the two groups to like get to know each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Like, he doesn't really violate anything.
Yeah, Roka's technically violating the one and only rule, but he's doing
not the
it.
spirit.
Yeah, he's doing it for the right reason. He's like, I want to know more about how you think. Let me know about you, Aiko.
Yeah. His friend is like 100% just be like, I need to know who's a robot at all times, or like, you gotta be a robot.
Yeah, because he's super weirded out by the fact that no one has rings on their heads. Like, that really bothers him. But Roka's like, I just want to know, how do you
motivate? Do you have a bad motivator?
How do you process things? Think about these like situations.
Well, I also like how he says that's just like you're completely different when he walks in here, because she is, because like in the cafe she's just like so hyper bubbly.
But she's also willing to talk to him about it, even though the bartender is very not happy with that kind of situation.
Yeah, because he's like, so dude, what happened to the ring above your head? And she's like, oh yeah, you turn it off.
That's what I do.
It's part of the rule. The rule's there.
Yeah, the one that you're violating. Technically,
if I don't look human, then I'm breaking the rule. To be fair, they could get this around the other way by putting rings on everybody's heads.
True. But up from behind them comes Chi-chan, who wants to talk to Aiko, but when they both turn around and look at her, she notices something very peculiar about Roka, and that's something very shiny on his face.
Yeah, and he totally swipes his glasses.
Well, I mean, she's a
like
cat,
a punk.
so she says. So she swipes his glasses and runs off with them.
We then zoom back over to the friend instead. Because I guess what happened there was boring, and instead we have to look at this guy, looking at the guy with the book.
Yeah, but I do like the fact that the show attempts to show us that these events in the cafe happen concurrently.
Roughly, yeah, concurrently. Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's not like one after the other after the other. It's like, no, these things are all happening at the same time. So
yeah.
But yeah, the friend's still sitting on the couch and is looking over at this very large man. But I do like how the dude noticing that he's being watched He's like, "What are you looking at, Blade Runner?"
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like you're trying to suss out who's robots. Nuts to that, Harrison Ford wannabe.
Get out of here. Maybe you're the robot.
Maybe you are the robot. Maybe everyone's a robot. Maybe everyone but me is the robot. And then friend's like, hey, but then the guy's like, how about you do a better job at surveillance? If you want to get on this spy game, maybe not just stare at people blankly.
Yeah, and so that dude leaves.
And you get to see his book.
Well, the title of which is Code Life, which could be something, could not be something.
He does, of course, warn him again that, like, if you break the rules here, you're not going to have a good time. I don't know, like, if that a threat or is that just like a statement?
I don't know. He could very well be meaning that you don't want to get on the bad side of the bartender. She's kind of nuts.
But, like, is that like a you don't want to be on their bad side or like you don't want to be on their bad side?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we find out that the little girl, meanwhile, took the glasses and now she does not have them anymore. And Aiko is trying to comfort Roka and say, don't worry about it. She stole my hat once. You know, eventually she gave it back, but she had hid it in her underwear. So, you know, watch out for that.
That's gross.
Just FYI.
And I'm pretty sure there are several businessmen in Japan who would pay top dollar for that to happen.
Absolutely.
So
solid business plan right there.
Either way, the surveillance guy leaves and asks him to give his friend his regards. So he's keeping an eye he's keeping an eye on both these two chuckleheads.
Well, one thing is interesting is the friend notices that after the dude leaves and the door closes, there's a little window in the door and it suddenly turns red, right? Yep. And so as a viewer, my first impression was the guy's standing on the other side of the door. So maybe he grew a halo, turned his halo back on, and it's red, which is like the default.
Yep. I mean, that is true. Yeah.
And so the friend gets up and goes to the door to like follow this guy to find out for sure.
Yeah, and also snarks at his friend for getting along with a robot. Ugh. Hanging out with a robot, cracking jokes with a robot.
How gross.
What a robots.
But it turns out that is not the case with the window.
No.
The window itself is actually a light telling you whether you can or cannot open the door at this time.
Yeah, this is pretty clever.
Yeah, I like this little
because he tries to open the door and it won't budge, and the bartender's like, yeah, no, it's locked. He's like, locked? He's like, yeah, after somebody leaves, it locks for a couple seconds, so you can't go out there and find out they're a robot, you jerk. Which
is really clever. I like that.
We thought about this. Deal with it. And she winks with the little star coming out of her eye, and I'm a big fan.
The more you know.
The more you know, which is the more you don't know in this case, right? Either way, it sparkles away, and the guy's like, well, fine, I'm just going to wait here by this chair until it unlocks.
Yep.
Putz. He's going to mope.
Well, as soon as it does turn green, he's like, all right, my chance to rush out after him. But it turns out the lovey-dovey Koibito couple is already up there. It's like, well, we were going to go, but do you want to?
But are you going to?
You could go first,
Will you let us go first? And he's like, nope, run out the door. I'm going to see if that guy's a robot because I'm kind of a jerk. There's one rule and I intend to break it in every way possible.
Well, at that point, he's outside of the cafe, so I guess he's not technically breaking the rules then, right?
I mean, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's a nebulous area. It's a true liminal space.
Indeed.
Because I mean, it literally is because it's a...
Yeah, but we go back to the bar real quick. There's a new patron at the bar who is asking for a different...
Coffee beans.
Yeah, for coffee beans so they can take them home and try it for him, whoever him is.
I do like how the name of the coffee blend is Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Because it's E-blend and V and B in Japanese are extremely similar, so...
Yay, puns.
It's a good pun. It's a solid double language pun.
It should be pointed out real quick that as the friend was marching off to go out the door, Roka looks after him, and because his glasses were stolen, he can't see anything.
Yeah, they're all so fuzzy.
Yeah, it's like he's underwater.
But I do appreciate how this is like real, like glasses can't see, and not just I've lost my glasses and am therefore literally blind. Not just the world is now giant and fuzzy and I can't see anything.
Another thing about it is it's not just like a Gaussian blur, like normally it would be. It's like actual blurry double vision kind of thing. Like if I took off my glasses back when I had them, that is what I would see.
Yep, that's still what I see when I take off mine. It's like, oh, hey, look, Everything's like just a big weird buzz thing.
So the girl at the counter asking for the coffee, she is normal girl, has a ponytail.
The bartender asks, like, do they like it? And he's like, well, I don't know.
He might like it, but he also has said that he doesn't like it when I do things of my own free will. Like, ah ha 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 ha.
Ah ha ha. I think we figured it out.
Guess who's a robot? He says things like, don't do things on your own.
I do like how the bartender is really like consoling her. Like just giving her like light advice and keeping up the chit chat.
That is what a bartender's supposed to do. Although maybe not a barista.
They are supposed to have a bar which is hard and strong, but be tender like a tender heart. Which is 100% the etymology of bartender in English. Thank you, bartender.
Thanks.
I mean, you're not wrong. Those are the definitions of those words in a way, but...
Little literalism there. Anyway, we pull back from that and we get back to Roka and Aiko attempting to continue their conversation from earlier. But Aiko is like, okay, even I have limits. No more robot questions. You are breaking the rules and I am not going to keep on or I will probably have my coffee privileges revoked. But he notices that if she's refusing to answer any more questions, that means she does have the ability to keep secrets.
Yeah. Which is like, the secret is basically a lie, right?
Yes.
But the grandfather overhears them and is like, you two are having a strange conversation for such a place. And he's like, yeah, everybody's got one or two secrets. Sometimes you even tell secrets to keep people safe from each other.
Yeah.
Right? Like the law says that you're supposed to keep humans safe.
Not even maybe safe, but just make them somehow better than they already are. If I told them the truth about whatever this is, maybe that would knock their happiness down. So that's maybe not keeping you out of harm's way per se, but it is making you less happy. So if it's for your benefit, what's it hurt? Right?
Well, it's weird when a robot lies to you is all. Like when you type a calculator, the 2 + 2, you want it to say 4 and not like 5, winky face. Just like how I hate when stupid Siri gives me snarky answers when I want to set a timer. Siri, you should just say, I set the timer, not stupid
I've
phone.
never gotten that. That's
I hate that. Have you not set a timer? And she's like, oh, the iPhone never boils.
No.
Or I love a good countdown. It's like, Siri, I swear.
I have not gotten that.
Just set a stupid timer and say, yes, I set the timer. Don't give me a snark response when it's something as simple as a yes or no timer.
Well, I also keep my
monster.
phone on like vibrate all the time, so maybe she's not snarky when it's on vibrate.
No, she's always snarky. Normally, she's like, timer coming up, or, something normal. But every once in a while, she's like, nerf, 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 nerf.
Snarf.
Yeah, snarf. Stupid phone. Ugh.
This is how it starts.
Yeah, I know. Favorite thing about Alexa is she's like, I set a timer for you. It's like, thank you, Alexa. You did.
You know what sucks about both Siri and Alexa?
What?
If you ask them any kind of question, because either one of them will say, I pulled up this webpage for you. Not what I wanted. Or the other one will say, I don't know anything about that. Shut off.
I don't know that right now. All right.
Thanks, not Google.
Yeah. Well, my favorite is when I'm like, set a 5-minute timer. She's like, let me Google 5-minute timers. It's like, I swear. I swear all that is holy. You heard me say 5-minute timer. And you're like, yeah, I think he wants me to Google that.
Oh, you would like to buy a 5-minute timer?
Yo, would you like to buy a 5-minute timer? I swear. I swear on your circuits, I'm going to take you apart.
So speaking of questions, where are his glasses? And Roka finally realizes, talking with this old man, that perhaps Chi-chan actually passed the glasses off to somebody when she ran upstairs. And the only person that she could have done that to is the bartender. So he wanders over there and is like, all right, can I have my my glasses back, please? And the bartender's like, oh, it's about time you noticed that. I was wondering when you'd come and get these. He's like, why didn't you tell me you had them? She's like, you didn't ask. Now, I will say here that the bartender should probably know better.
Well, I'm not quite sure. He's she's put together like whose robot she is. She just knows she's a robot.
I mean, that is true, but her interactions with both of them after this particular event seem to indicate she doesn't care.
Well, I mean, also, I think she's got her own sort of machinations, right? This bartender is definitely all about causing just a slight amount of mischief.
She's the old woman of the village.
Yeah, she likes to make making mischief.
So
making mischief.
Roka puts on the glasses, and Robot here, who's totally not Sammy-chan, is like, "Oh, I might know you." Uh-oh. And there's a very awkward pause as everyone recognizes everyone else.
Yep. I do like the violence of him taking off the hair tie, though. That's
mean.
That's a little salty right there. But I mean, I guess she is a robot, so she had a good sort of half side pony going.
Okay.
And that's just rude.
So something just occurred to me. Let's say he didn't know for sure that she was a robot.
And was in fact a human that he had no idea who it was. Yeah. Jerk.
So that's one scenario. The other scenario is if she is a robot, she is probably mass produced, right? So there are probably lots of robots that look like her.
Yeah, well,
so he just assaulted another robot.
We don't know that.
You shouldn't presume and pull off women's ponytail holders.
What's robot assault ethics there?
Good question. If human pulls off ponytail holder, can you murder them? I think that's law number 4.
It's up there.
Definitely top 10. Well, anyway, Robot Girl, who's definitely not Sammy-chan, runs away quite quickly.
As one would imagine. She does do a halfway decent job of trying to hide her face with her hands, though, just in general.
Yes.
Before she skadoodles. And the bartender's gonna lay down some sweet, harsh truths. Really, she should have started with being like, hey, don't grab things off people, you jerk. Though then again, she didn't really have much to say when the other girl stole his glasses. Yeah. So maybe this is just a free-for-all for grabbing accessories. Maybe that's the secret second rule, is no discrimination between human and robots. 2, any sort of facial accessory is fair game for grabby hands.
Very odd cafe. Out. Very strangely themed.
Well, it's one of those themed cafes. Some are cat cafes, some are owls, some are raccoon, some are snatch things off people's faces.
But anyway, he's like, now hang on a second. I don't care what you have to say. I need to run after my
robot there.
And before he get the robot out, she's like,
get your butt over here and quit breaking my rules.
There's only one.
We're going to have a chat. No, there's 2.
Maybe 2.
And to be fair, well, I guess he didn't break the other one. He fully embraced rule number 2, which is steal stuff off people's faces if given the opportunity.
So yeah, she gives him a free cup of coffee so they can have a quick chat. And so they start talking about, when Sammy-chan first showed up. Turns out it was quite a while ago, although she can't remember exactly when. And she was super shy, but eventually she started, like, as she put it, she opened her heart.
Got to open them their kokoros. Though in this situation, it could have been very literal.
Yeah, she definitely could have.
I mean, the whole show opened with her opening her heart.
Well, it wasn't her kokoro. It was more of her
more
hara.
Of her tum.
Yeah.
Tum.
More harakiri there. And
also, dude, she opens up. Like, you literally have done that before. Wow. You've opened her up, physically.
With a cable and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You've probed her deepest parts.
But she talks about all sorts of things. And we're going to glide right past one of these things, which I feel leans a little more stuff. She's like, she talks about the mom who buys her clothes, her occasional nightmares, the boy she makes coffee for. It's like, now hold up.
Whoa, back that trade up.
The boy who stopped playing the piano, my mistake. And it's like, let's back up here. The robot has nightmares. Are we going to explore this in any way?
Nope, we're just going to go back in the back and look for some stuff.
I am very curious about robot nightmares.
Nope.
Do they feature electric wolves?
No one knows.
I'm very curious now.
Because not only is this not discussed here, both in this episode and the next.
Nor the next.
Everyone's just sort of forgotten about that.
We're just walking right by the robot nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, she's like, yeah, there's the boy that the mom buys her clothes, her occasional robot nightmare, the boy who used to play the piano. And, just the other day she was talking about how she'd like to make him a nice cup of coffee. Yeah, don't worry about the robot nightmares, the robot living in your house who has walking nightmares where she could grab a knife and try and fend herself off from like weird like monsters that she's seen in her weird digital dreams, and she stabs her family to death. Let's not worry about that.
Totally.
Just don't walk by it.
Totally fine.
It's normal robot behavior.
Yep, it was in the logs. We already know about that.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to worry a lot. Yeah, I bet about her weird robot nightmares. Again, let's not walk by this.
No, we're walking right by that at a very fast pace.
I guess so.
Because we instantly cut from there to we're back at home.
Well, yeah, the real worry is that she's not worried. She's worried she's not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Which is actually a very interesting thing for robots to think about. Not quite as interesting as the nightmare thing, but, robot ethics is pretty interesting. Not just robot ethics from an external point, but what are a robot's internal ethics?
Well, I mean, if her prime directive is to serve master, then the better she can do that, I guess. I guess she's equating that with quote-unquote right. So is she doing the right thing? Yeah. Would be, am I making master happy?
Also, I'm not going to kick you out for being a jerk to your robot here. Just, follow the freaking rule for 2 seconds. Oh my golly.
Nope. Spoilers. Nope.
Like, it's okay if you know someone's a robot. You just can't treat them any different, you putz.
But yeah, we come back to dining room of the apartment where he is talking to his friend on the phone. And he's like, yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of this mystery at some point. But I got to go. I've got a robot that wants to make me coffee.
I do like their two different motivations for wanting to go back. Because he's like, oh, I just want to learn more about these interesting people. And his friend's like, I got to get to the bottom of this cafe where you don't know who's a robot.
Yeah, they're up to something. Got to find out what.
I was half thinking here that he was going to invite Sammy to go with him so they could have another chat and be best buds.
Well, no, because
but he doesn't.
He doesn't have that kind of conviction in him.
No, he doesn't. He's not thinking for the long game. But either way, he gets off the phone and Sammy's there just staring at him as you do, I guess.
He starts to ask her a question about the cafe, but stops mid-question and decides to tell her instead, the coffee recently has been very delicious. But she responds with a very robotic voice. However, the camera shows us that she has just the slightest of a grin.
I know, that's cute.
Oh,
He's just
happy
smiling.
robot.
And then we get some weird Grib thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know yet.
We get some sort of weird voice.
Maybe these are the robot nightmares.
Get some sort of weird robot voice and some weird lady having a conversation with some weird background.
Yeah, it has no relations to the ethics committee.
All they're saying is, we'll let him continue to swim freely, whatever that means.
Yeah.
They're talking about something having individuality that's beginning to manifest itself. Something.
Yeah.
And there's a white-haired lady, I guess. Mysteries
the
abound.
restraint circuits are something. Assumptions will just lead you away from the truth. Don't assume anything.
By goals.
At least that's what the doctor would say. So I guess there's a conspiracy here, and maybe somebody's turning the robots into sapient mode.
Yep. It's Chobits.
Yeah, or is Chobits this?
Huh. Guess we will find out. And so that is where episode 2 of Even though Jikan leaves off.
Did we we haven't best and worsted in a while, have we?
Well, we haven't. I guess we should do that. What was your best of this episode? Should.
Best of this episode. I like the snarkiness of the friend as he walks by, where he's just like, "Oh, I guess you two are having a fun time of it, talking like people."
Who's really a people, though? No one knows. My favorite was when they're overhearing that one couple, and they sort of lock eyes for a bit.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I do like that.
I'm a fan of that joke.
What was your worst?
The worst is probably, again, that short little scene in the middle with just the girl pretending to be a cat. It doesn't serve a huge amount of purpose.
Yeah, not really. Although it does, like I said, it sets up that question, but it also sets up something in the next episode, I think. So, yeah, we can talk about that next week. My worst would probably be him assaulting his own robot.
Yeah, no, dude, that's super uncool.
It's like, no, that was a cute ponytail, and he just ripped it off of her.
Even if it's
Why?
a robot. Like, I wouldn't knock Alexa over when she's upsetting.
You could have just
be
pointed
like,
at
"No,
her and be
Alexa,
like, you, I know you.
You're my robot. Yeah, seriously. Like, if Alexa did something, like, kind of obnoxious, I wouldn't tip her over. Be like, Alexa, that's weird.
I may have unplugged Alexa on a few occasions because she decided to be a jerk.
That's different, I feel. That's just like having a remote control. It's like an off button, not like physically assaulting it.
Just punching it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Don't punch Alexa.
Sorry for anybody who's listening to this podcast and we've set off your Alexa. I don't know how many times by now.
Nah, they're usually good about recorded voices.
Alexa, buy gold.
Oh, buy gold. Buy all the gold. That's what Dio Brando would do. Buy gold.
Absolutely. So next week, we will cover Eve no Jikan episode 3 and be halfway through the series. So we will...
San no Jikan.
So we will see you then. Hey guys, thanks for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us to leave comments or suggest future silly topics, you can contact us on Facebook or Twitter at Aniki Podcast. Or if you'd like to know more about the show and hear past episodes, check out our website at aniki.fm. See you next time on Aniki.